Today I am going to give a lecture on identical particle and spin. This is only the introductory level lecture. Definition of identical particle is if two particles are said to be identical if all of their intrinsic properties like mass, charge and spin are exactly the same. No experiment can distinguish one of them from other. Classically, all particles can be distinguished because of all trajectories through phase space can be traced. In quantum mechanics, it is impossible to distinguish between two interacting identical particles resulting from finite extent of the wave function. The intrinsic uncertainty in position and momentum therefore demand separate consideration of distinguishable and indistinguishable particles. Let us say take this simple example given in quantum mechanics book by Jet Li. We have two detectors T1 and T2, and there are two sources S1 and S2. We are firing a particle from S1 and S2. So due to that interaction, there are two possibilities. The source particle from source 1 may reach the detector 1, and source 2 will reach the detector 2. Consider the situation in this figure. Here the particle from S1 reaches the detector T2 and particle from S2 reaches the detector T1. There is no guarantee that which particle reached T1 and which particle reached detector T2. That is due to interaction of these two particles. Before going into the detail of identical particle, we will see about the Cartry product. That is the complete wave function capital Psi. I have mentioned here at capital Psi as a function of the position x1, x2, x3 up to xn. This can be written as the product of the individual wave functions, that is wave function of particle A at x1, B at x2, C at x3, N as xn. So here I am changing it for the convenience and simplicity. X1 as simply 1, x2 as simply 2, x3 as simply 3 up to n, and the product of the wave function is psi a1, psi p2, psi c3, psi nn. So if you interchange the position, that is x3 and x2, if you are interchanging it, then it can be written as psi of a1, psi of p3, that is second particle P. Particle P is at position 3, particle C is at position 2, likewise it up to psi n. Let us say two system psi 1 2 which is equal to psi a at position x1, psi b at position x2. We are interchanging two particles, that is two the particle a at x2, particle b at x1, that is psi of a, psi of 2, psi p 1. If we find the probability of this wave function, you will get psi a1 psi p2 modulus square is equal to psi a2 psi p1 modulus square. That means the probability density of the two system, even after interchanging, it will be the same. That means by changing the position we will have same energy. That is, it is called T generacy. This T generacy we are getting because of the interchanging the particle. It's called exchange T generacy. Okay. Then that means psi A1 psi P2 is equal to plus or minus psi A2 psi P2. That is, we have two options. That is, this can be either positive or negative. If it is positive, then it is called the symmetric wave function. That is it. Poisson follows the symmetric wave function. If it is negative, then it is called anti-symmetric. It is called fermion. All particles with the integer spin are called Poisson, that is spin 0, 1, 2. Example, proton, pions, etc. Like that. All particles with half integer spin are called fermion. That is, spin is equal to half, 3 by 2, 5 by 2, so likewise. So electron, proton, neutron, quarks are the example for fermion. Poisson follows Bose-Einstein statistics and fermion follows Fermi-Dirac statistics. Here just I want to mention only about the permutation operator. Of course I have not used it here. Explicitly I never said the permutation operator during my course. So it is defined as P. The permutation operator P21 means if it acts on a wave function psi 1 2, it will be changed psi 2 1. That is, there is a exchange of position. This operator satisfies the following property. It is, first of all, it is a Hermitian. That is, P21 is equal to P21 dagger. This is not plus dagger. Due to some problem, I could not make it dagger. So this is dagger, not plus. And P squared is equal to 1. It is unitary operator, that is P21 into P21 dagger. Again it is not plus, it is dagger, equal to P21 dagger. P21 is equal to 1. That means P21 dagger is equal to P21 inverse. This is about the permutation operator. So if you since it is P squared is 1, P is equal to plus or minus 1. It is outcome of the operator depends upon whether the wave function is symmetry or not. There are two ways to construct the indistinguishable wave function. One is psi s. S indicate symmetric, which is equal to 1 by square root of 2. This is normalization constant. Psi a of 1, psi p of 2 plus psi a 2, psi p 1. And another way of constructing it is psi a indicate anti-symmetric is 1 by square root. As usual, this is normalization constant. Psi a1 psi p2 minus psi a2 psi p1. So we are interchanging the particle. Here we have plus sign, here we have minus sign. Both are at different state, different form. This is a symmetric form, anti-symmetric form, but both of these solution correspond to same total energy eigenvalue, and thus it is degenerate. That is same energy with two different states. It's called degeneracy. Since this degeneracy we are getting because exchanging the two particles, as I said earlier, this is called exchange degeneracy. If A equal to 0, uh, then psi a is equal to 0. Sorry, if a equal to p, then psi a equal to 0, which is not at all possible. Because that particle, you must you can find the particle somewhere in the system. So particle will be present in somewhere in the system. Then what is the meaning of this psi a equal to 0? You cannot you cannot have two electron at same energy state. That is, A equal to P is not allowed according to Pauli exclusion principle. Any one of the quantum number may be different for A and P. So it is not possible to have A equal to P. What about three particle system? If it is symmetry, then symmetry wave function may be constructed as follow, that is, which is equal to 1 by square root of 6. For two particle system, we have seen it is square root of 2, that is, it is square root of n factorial. Actually, correct form is n factorial. In the case of two particle system, it is 2 factorial. So hence that 1 by square root of 2 comes by previous case. Now it is 3 particle 3 factorial, that is 6. So this can be constructed in 6 different permutation combination. Psi 1 2 3. Now you interchange 2 and 3. 2 and 3 you have interchange. It is written in quadratic product form, and psi 2 3 1, and you interchange 1 and 3, and psi 3 1 2 you interchange 2 and 1. 2 and 1. So there are 6 different combination in symmetric form. We will see what about the anti-symmetric nature. Then what about anti-symmetric function? For this we are using the Slater determinant. That is psi a equal to, I have already informed that this is equal to 1 by square root of n factorial. Here n is 3, so 3 factorial determinant. Slater determinant is matrix is written in a specific form. That is, each particle is written in a row. Here particle A is written in first row, P second row, C third row. So if you find the determination of this one, you will that is psi a1 will become multiplication of these two and 3. So in Hartree product form, it can be written as psi 1 2 3, psi 1 2 3 minus psi 1 2 3 only, but particle P comes first. We are writing in the order of particle A, B, C. So P is in third position and C is in second position. Similarly for the second element, psi A2 is equal to, here minus, you will get one minus psi A2 minus P13 minus 213 minus 213, and here the minus of minus will become plus psi a2 these two, that is 231 231 will become plus. Similarly psi a3 you have to multiply and subtract from this, so this will become 312 minus 321. So there are 6 combination. You are getting 6 combination. This is anti-symmetric wave. You have 6 permutation combination. It is determined by Slater determinant. So far we have seen in 3 electron system and 2 electron system, both symmetric and antisymmetric wave function. You may ask a question, how this symmetric wave function is possible for a fermion. The answer is, so far we have not taken consideration of the spin of the particle. Here I am taking some specific example of helium atom at ground state with spin function, that is chi. So actually the wave function must be written including the spin wave function, that is psi 1 2 equal to psi a1 psi p2 chi, where chi is the spin wave function. In the form of Slater determination, we can write this psi a equal to 1 by square root of 2 determinant of psi a1 alpha. Here alpha represent spin up state, spin up of particle 1, that is particle A, and psi a at position 2, and beta is spin down of the particle 1 at x1, particle at A at x1 position. So similarly for particle P1, alpha 1 is spin up, beta 2 is spin down. Though both are at the same orbit, I have represented this psi a1 psi a2 just to indicate that there is an uncertainty principle. Both are at the same first orbit only. We have considered this at ground state, 1s orbit only. So it can be, determinant can be written like this. Here we can separate the function into two parts. That is spatial function of psi and spin function separately. Here I have mentioned, see that here I have mentioned SA. That means first is spatial wave function. So spatial wave function is symmetry, and the spin wave function is here anti-symmetry. We will see the actually either one of either spatial, if spin is anti-symmetry, spatial is symmetry. If spatial is anti-symmetry, then spin will be symmetry, which we are going to see in the next slide. Previous case we have seen helium atom at ground state, that is both electrons are in the same orbit. So if either one is spin up, other one must be spin down. Here it is under excited state, that is one electron is at first orbit, or the other one is in the second orbit. Now there is a possibility of having both up state or both down state, maybe both up and down state, like first one is up, second one is up down, that is first electron is up, second one is down, and first one is down, second one is up, or both are down. So there are both possibility. So we may have the linear combination of these two. Naturally the first one and the fourth one must be symmetry, that is spin function must be symmetry, because both are either in up state or in down state. So now we will see the possible state of this spin function and spatial function. See, for two electron system, the total spin is either 0 or 1, and magnetic number is magnetic quantum number is varies from +1 0 -1. So let us take the condition of S is equal to 0 and magnetic quantum number is 0 0 0. Then in that case the wave function, that is spatial wave function is symmetry, and the spin wave function is anti-symmetry, that is alpha beta minus beta alpha, because the electrons are in different state, so we can expect because one electron is under up state, other one is down state, this may be both symmetry or anti-symmetry in nature. So if it is anti-symmetry, naturally the spatial wave function must be symmetry in order to maintain total anti-symmetry. If spin wave function is symmetry, naturally the spatial wave function is anti-symmetry. So here I have mentioned this. As I said, the first fourth one is obviously is a symmetrical wave function. So naturally the wave function will be anti-symmetry in nature. So these are the four possible ways. The number of state depends upon the number of electron. For 2 electron system, the number of state is 4, that is 2 power n. For 3 electron system, it will be 8, that is 2 power 3 is 8. This is called, the first one is called singlet, that is the spatial wave function is symmetry and the spin wave function is anti-symmetry when s is equal to 0, m equal to 0. This is singlet. This is called parahelium state, and other three are the wave function is spatial wave function is anti-symmetry, the spin wave function is symmetry. This is called the triplet of the helium state, triplet state. This one is singlet, that is spin is anti-symmetry. Here spin is spin function is symmetry. It is called a triplet state, and also it is called orthohelium. Orthohelium state is a metastable state. This is about the excited state of the helium atom. As I said, for 3 electron system we will have 8 different state. I am not going to discuss it now. This actually, in fact, we can prove using the addition of angular momentum. We can derive it. Of course, it can be easily done. I am not going into the detail of that calculation, addition of angular momentum. I will take one lecture about addition of angular momentum. So with this I will conclude this introductory lecture. Thank you for watching my video.